Hello and Happy New Year from the Hutchison House Reacts. In breaking news, Mark Zuckerberg has decided that the Facebook algorithm is telling him he should be more like Elon Musk. And so therefore, he believes in freedom of speech now. I don't buy it at all. And I'll tell you why in just a moment. But first, let's hear from old Zuckerberg.
Meta and Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg says he's following the footsteps of ex-owner Elon Musk by getting rid of third-party fact-checking on the site. Now, here's what he said yesterday.
We've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship. The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech. So we're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms. We're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes, similar to X. We're going to simplify our content policies and get rid of a bunch of restrictions on topics like immigration and gender that are just out of touch with mainstream discourse. We used to have filters that scanned for any policy violation. Now, we're going to focus those filters on tackling illegal and high severity violations. And for lower severity violations, we're going to rely on someone reporting an issue before we take action.
Oh boy. I'm just curious because human rights activists warn that this is a major step back.
Oh boy, the View activists think that this is a major step back because they give misinformation all the time. See, anything that's factual to them is misinformation. By the way, Mark Zuckerberg, let's be all reminded of Facebook's roots. If he wants to get back to the roots of Facebook, the roots were founded on the belief that he was put down by an ex-girlfriend. We all saw Social Network, right? Did you see that movie? And his girlfriend was busy doing something and thought he was being a jerk because he was. And so then he decided to put her on blast and make Facebook, which was a who's hot, who's not book. And that's how Facebook was born. He hacked into the system. And now he's a multimillionaire because he hacked into his school system and posted a book of who's hot and who's not, making his ex, of course, not hot, and having everybody vote on that. And then we wonder why Facebook's roots are based in feeling awful, people downgrading, degrading other people, feeling bad about themselves, comparing to other people. Now, I'm not saying Facebook is all bad because I think it's great that we can get information out and we can touch the whole world really quickly, right? But I do think it's bad, and I always have, that it's been rooted in just really being mean and being a liar. So now that's rewarded in this society, of course. And so that's Mark Zuckerberg saying he wants to get back to the roots. So that is the roots of Facebook. Now, to get back to his point about, we had fact checkers and this and that. During the pandemic, I had posted something about elderberry and vitamin B and taking iron, because these are things that have helped me my whole life. I was talking about vitamins. I didn't even mention the vax or anything like that. I didn't mention any of it. I just said, if you're feeling ill, these are some vitamins that have helped me. My post was marked as misinformation. This is how bad it was. Okay. So then I was labeled as some kind of conspiracy theorist because you're not allowed to tell information about real things that can make you better. It's free speech, Whoopi, but let's hear what she has to say.
That'll have misinformation, conspiracy theories, and bigotry running wild on the site. My question is, when did fact-checking become a bad thing?
Since Donald Trump became president.
Yes, absolutely.
And they're all cheering. Absolutely. Absolutely. Facts became a bad thing when the guy that we don't like was saying facts. Everybody cheers. Crowd applauses. They go wild. These ladies are so fakey schmakey. It's almost just like a parody at this point. It's really hard to watch, but oh boy, this is cray cray. Let's watch another minute.
that the worst thing that he has done is cause this misinformation and lying going on.
Alternative facts.
This alternative facts that Kellyanne Conway,
Yes.
she said alternative facts. This guy Zuckerberg, I saw the movie, wasn't it Social Network?
Yes.
So,
Where he says basically, I'm creating Facebook so people have a community, so that people can talk to each other. All of a sudden,
No, he created it so he could put his girlfriend down because he felt disrespected by her. That's how he created it. He created it from an anger. And yeah, the man is brilliant. He was able to hack into a school system and win a lawsuit against them and now be one of the richest men in the world. I'm not denying that he's not smart. But what's dangerous is that the global elite have been running everything and then fact checking us for talking about vitamins. And these ladies think that's just crazy. You're not allowed to talk about vitamins. Ever since Trump was president, people actually wanted real information about what can help them. We can't have that. Come on, ladies. You guys are ridiculous. I do like that color of the blazer, though. Joy Behar. I'm not a fan of her, but I actually like this little blazer she's got going.
it's become this big thing about, and a big lying machine that's going on.
Yeah.
And the wokeness is what is at the bottom of it.
The wokeness did not help those 1982 earrings, though, Joy. I'm sorry. God bless America. I know you have all the money in the world so you can buy whatever earrings you want, and that was what you went with. It's interesting. It's a choice.
I just want to say, I'm sorry. If being woke is a bad thing, that means that the fact that I care about you, regardless of what you say or who you are, I want to make sure your family is as well off as mine is. That's too.
You don't want to make sure that my family is as well off as you. Because if I don't believe lockstep with everything that you decide is the truth, regardless of actual facts, then you want to cancel people like me. Then you'll call me a fascist or a racist, and then we'll have some sushi with Sean Connery. No, this is not okay. Whoopee.
Too woke. It's too woke for me to say to you, hey, listen, if you don't want your kids reading this, maybe the best thing to do is let's go to the library together and I'll tell the librarian what I don't mind my kids reading. And then you can tell the librarian what you don't want your kids to read.
I see that's an issue because we're not allowed to do that, because otherwise we are whatever it is. What are we, homophobe? My daughter checked out a book from the public library here in Colorado. And this was before I realized I have to watch absolutely everything. I thought the library was a safe place. I know. I know. I was pretty naive. And so she checked out this book for first graders. This was when she was in first grade. And she brought it home and I'm reading it to her out loud. And it was horrifying. It was all about, this is me reading a book, by the way. This is my impression of me reading a book and action. Here I am reading this book. I forgot what it's called. I should go check it out so I can show you. But it was this little boy and it was this whole family that was like, oh my gosh, it's so cute. The little boy wants to dress up in a skirt. And so mom and dad, let's all dress up as the opposite gender because that is so fun. Get along and I'm going, no, this is okay. What is going on here? Yes, imagination. My daughter's like, but I could dress up like a dinosaur. It's just imagining. And that's the problem. See, they get you in at this little insidious point where it's like, well, it is imagination. And yes, you could dress up as a dinosaur. The problem is with the wokeness is they want to convince you are a dinosaur. And if I don't say and affirm that you're a dinosaur, honey, when you're just using your imagination as a first grader, then I'm not a good parent or something. And that's the problem with the wokeness. That wasn't the whole problem with the book. As I'm reading it, I'm getting more and more upset because I'm reading it out loud, regretting that totally. And then by the end, it says, everybody had fun dressing up in dresses and all the boys were in dresses. And the little boy, it was so cute because then mom and dad had him bend over. But that's not all. He wasn't wearing underwear and he had a tiny little schoolgirl skirt on. The end, literally. I said no. And then I look into it and it says, this book is all about gender affirming care. I have a problem with that. I have a problem when this amazing man at a school board meeting in California had a problem with his fifth grader being given PORN. And yes, it was PORN. They said, no, it's not. It's a book that speaks out against abuse in graphic detail, that of PORN. Give me a break. These are the type of books that common sense people don't think that kids should have. And Whoopi doesn't get it. None of these ladies get it. They're like, yes, my kids should totally read a book about adult PORN. It's amazing. And then we'll all have sushi. I don't know why I keep talking in that voice, but we're going with it.
That's too woke.
Well, the new rules on Meta, Facebook, they're imperfect. I will say this. I think it's a balance between content moderation, free speech, and fact checking. And what I think Facebook has gotten wrong for some time is they've had third-party fact checkers, but then Facebook Meta would ultimately make a decision on, can this content be on? Oftentimes fact checkers can't, or these staffers at Facebook can't have biases. I actually think, listen, X has become a hellhole for a lot of reasons, but I think that community notes actually work. You have to cite your source.
Let me interrupt you. What does free speech have to do with fact checking?
Because who are the fact checkers? It's not free speech. If Joy Behar says, no, you're not allowed to wear no earrings, Leah, I'm wearing big earrings. You have to wear them. Okay, that was a stupid analogy. But the point is that the facts aren't facts. They don't allow debates. I gave a few videos back with Dr. Willie Soon, who is a real life scientist. He's been studying this whole climate business. I can't even say it on YouTube. And that's the problem. There is no freedom of speech. He asked Al Gore to debate him. Al Gore won't debate him. That would be free speech. Why can't you debate if there's nothing to hide? You should want to talk to people who disagree with you. Maybe you'll persuade more people who disagree with you to agree with you, right? Maybe you'll get the facts out, but they're not facts. They're not facts. It's one view, and that's not freedom of speech. That's the problem, Joy. They have no idea. And Alyssa, I'm sorry. At first I thought, at least Alyssa is like coming too. No, all of these women are so cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And Sunny, it's a dumpster fire. Is she the one who said that? No, X is not a dumpster fire. First of all, it's called freedom of speech. Now, there are some things that I've disagreed with Elon Musk. Right? Because the problem is with this society now, you're supposed to be lockstep with everybody across the board. No, if you're a free thinker and you actually believe in freedom of speech, you can say, hey, I agree with this. Don't agree with that. I like a lot of what Elon Musk is doing. I don't like the fact that he's saying anybody who has a larger account than you can, I forgot what it is like, but basically, what is the word? I'm spacing on the word, but basically, say totally spacing on the word, they can say that they don't like your account, say, and then your content isn't going to get pushed out. I have a problem with that because I don't believe that does promote freedom of speech. Because what can happen is that, say you have a small channel, you have a small X account, whatever the case may be. And I think this is also how YouTube works on many cases. And then somebody else puts a strike on your account because maybe they're in competition with you. Maybe they don't want you to come up because they're like, this person has talent and they have a good voice. Maybe they're even on your side, but they don't want the competition. They could put a strike on you and then your stuff isn't going to be put out. But of course, and obviously, the people that really despise you or hate you who are bigger than you can do that. And then your content isn't going to get pushed out. And that's not freedom of speech. I do have a problem with Elon Musk saying that. And I'm shocked, actually, that he would promote that. I'm absolutely shocked because he does seem like an extremely brilliant man. But I'm not going to be lockstep with anybody all the way across the board. I don't think I've ever met one person that I agree with every single day on every single thing. And that's what freedom of speech is all about. But these ladies don't get it because they have one view, the view. Notice the show isn't called Views. different perspectives. No, it's the view, it's their view. And if you don't share their view, they want to cancel you and say that it's incorrect and it's misinformation and it's not factual, when that is not factual. You get my drift? Think you do.
Because it's imperfect. It's not as simple as the sky is blue, the grass is green. We know the facts on that. Sometimes it comes into opinions or viewpoints. This is still a town square. I tend to be a free speech absolutist as long as it's not harming someone else.
Know the difference between an opinion and a fact. We do
no,
it
but
every day.
A lot of this can be viewpoints where somebody could say, well, this is my viewpoint on it. And there were moderating things around language you used around certain issues. But to the point I was saying, community notes actually work. They have to be cited to sources. My issue is the algorithms. These tech companies are run by billionaires. They're completely unaccountable. Congress hasn't regulated tech in over 30 years, and they can push what you're seeing more of. They can hold back what you're not seeing. And that to me is the biggest issue. But we can complain about it all we want. We need to tell Congress that they need to also get involved.
I do agree with that, because it's all about algorithms. And we already know that this whole social credit score is alive and well in the worst way in the United States, because people think if you don't have 1 million followers or whatever the case is, then you're nobody, then your view doesn't count, then you're not credible. When really you could have an amazing viewpoint and you could have actual facts, but your stuff isn't going to get pushed out for the reasons I just mentioned or otherwise. And I think that is dangerous, because that's how people are viewing everybody now. But again, Facebook and all of these type of social media platforms, a lot of times we're born and bred off of pushing people down. Let's not pretend that that's not what it is. Now, can it be used for good? Yes, absolutely. That's why I like it, because that's why I use it, because I want to use it for good. I want to connect with people. And I have. The people on this channel who have subscribed, you guys are some lovely, lovely people. You're like, I'm one person. I'm not you guys. You are a lovely person if you subscribed. And if you didn't, then I'm just going to call you a misogynist. What? You're a female? I don't care. You're a misogynist. Can't females be They're misogynist. Wouldn't a male misogynist be a misogenist? You're welcome. I'm on fire this morning. Yes, you are welcome. But I'm going to get to why I think Mark Zuckerberg is totally full of it and what the real motive is in just a minute. But let's just hear. I haven't checked out these ladies in a while, so let's just hear what else they have to say, shall we?
Absolutely do. The misinformation, the World Economic Forum listed misinformation and disinformation as the most severe short-term threat globally. So by removing these fact checkers, I understand the concern was, and Joy, this might answer your question, there were some conservative viewpoints that were being taken down. These fact checking industries started right in 2016 when President Trump was elected the first time. It would be something like when there were debates on masks or shutdowns, they were taking these things off of the site, which as someone who could have debated that.
What was up with that? What was up with Fauci saying masks don't work? And then 2 seconds later, masks work. And then, I mean, the whole thing is so duplicitous. What about all the people who've been injured? You're not even allowed to talk about that. People who ran out, they were first in line saying, I'm not an anti-anything. I was first in line, but now I don't have a leg. And I'm not allowed to talk about that. I'm not allowed to talk about the fact that insurance didn't cover it because it's a you-know-what injury, and that's what I signed up for. I'm not allowed to talk about that. Since when is there not supposed to be full disclosure? You don't have to be one thing or the other. Not every food is right for everybody, right? Some people could get really, really sick. Some people could have anaphylaxis from a peanut and become unalive, as YouTube says. See, that's not freedom of speech. You can't even say the real words. We're having to change the human language just because we don't really have freedom of speech. Let me just breathe for a moment. It's not a one size fits all. And that's the problem. And that's the problem that so many of these type of people do not understand. You don't have to be one or the other all the time. It doesn't always have to be so black and white. You can say, hey, I'm not anti this. I just want to share what my experience was. Maybe it's not for everybody. Maybe it is for you. And that's how doctors always worked up until that point. That's how doctors always worked. It was full disclosure. Here's the benefits of this. Here's the benefits of that. Here's the dangers and risks of this. Here's the dangers and risks of that. And with this, it was like, nope, no dangers, no risks. And if you have any questions, I'm going to not only get mad at you, I'm going to cancel you. I'm going to cancel your business. I'm going to attack your family. That is cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. What? That is a real problem. And that's totally anti-American and totally anti freedom of speech. I'm going to breathe. These ladies, whew.
These people were saying you're taking our content off of this site. But there's a difference between Alex.
Is that allegedly or is that factual?
Oh, there's
Oh, that's factual. That's factual, Sunny Hostin. That's actually factual. It's actual and factual, as Mary Poppins would say. Candace Owens sued Facebook because she lost millions of dollars because they deplatformed her. And since when can we deplatform a president, a sitting president? That is ludicrous, because they didn't want us to hear the real facts coming from a real human being. Let us decide. Let us hear the facts from people and we can decide. Let us hear the facts about climate. Let us hear a debate. They always say 99.9% of scientists all agree. What about the other scientists? And how did you get that figure? And I want to see the consensus, but we're not allowed to. And if you even ask questions, you're shunned, you're deplatformed, you're canceled, your business will be attacked. You can even have DATH threats, right? I have to spell these things and say I'm alive and all these things because I could get deplatformed. I've already been censored. I've already been pushed down. This is absolutely ludicrous. Please watch that Willie Soon video, really soon, because it is excellent. He lays it all out there. If you want to hear from an actual scientist who's dedicated his life to research, watch that video and you'll learn so much, or maybe you'll be revalidated in what you already know. But if you disagree, then let's talk about it. Maybe you could reach out to Al Gore and see if you could get a debate with Al Gore and Willie Soon. It would be mind-blowing. It would be so exciting to watch something like that and learn, but we're not allowed. That's a problem. So no, it's not allegedly, it's factually and actually, Sunny Hostin.
That's their conversation. There are reports, there are things they took off. But the bigger point here is there's a difference between Alex Jones spewing hate, disgusting, false, and having a difference of opinion. But either way, I'd rather.
And how do you know Alex Jones is spewing hate and disgusting and false? How do you know that? How do you know that? Just because you have a cute sweater on, striped sweater? Why are you the authority? This is what's so ridiculous about this stuff.
Have them get it wrong occasionally with a screen door between free speech and say anything you want. I'm frustrated that they did this because social media is already on the downgrade, and he pretty much admitted he did this because of President Trump.
I'm going to just reject the fact that we don't know what a fact is.
Really?
I reject it outright.
You do reject the fact that you don't know what a fact is. You don't know what a fact is, Sunny Hostin. You don't. And your husband is in trouble because of that. And you kind of threw him under the bus, but we're not going to get into all that right now, right? But you don't know what a fact is when you're not allowed to hear all the facts. There are many times two sides to the story. And this day and age, with these people getting me to spill coffee all over myself, the problem is if anybody says they don't like Leah, that's a fact. Let's not talk to Leah. Let's not hear from her because that would be bad. That's a problem, Sunny. That's a problem because, see, you don't even know the facts. You're not given the facts. Donald Trump wasn't even allowed to talk to people for a long time. What was it? The Morning Joe people? They're like, this is going to be revolutionary. We're actually, instead of just talking about him, we're actually going to talk to him. And everyone freaked out. They're like, why would you do such a thing? This is a problem. And you think you know the facts. You don't even talk to the actual people that situations that you're often talking about involve. How does that make sense? As the young kids say, make it make sense. I can't stand things that don't make sense. Next, you got to watch a video that I'm doing on Donald Trump because he makes me happy because it's common sense. It's so refreshing to hear common sense. Make common sense common again. I know, I get a little heated.
The difference between opinion and fact. And there is journalists, like people that work for the New York Times, they know how to fact check. Journalism students are taught You fact check 3 different sources.
Journalists have gotten things wrong,
So
though.
this notion.
Yeah, 3 different sources, but nobody does that anymore. They don't even check with the actual source. Why Mark Zuckerberg is letting his hair grow out and why he wants to be more like Elon Musk. Well, we all know why he wants to be more like Elon Musk. He's like, Elon Musk is making a lot more money than me. What the? That's not cool. Okay, we got to change something. Oh, I know. What's been big is the whole freedom of speech thing. Here's Mark Zuckerberg. Only we're not going to do actual freedom of speech. Here's the thing. This takes off the reins and we can start saying as many lies as we want about Trump. We always have said lies about him, Mark Zuckerberg says, but now it's full steam ahead. Because if we're saying freedom of speech, see, get it? You guys get it? Oh, maybe I'll be as rich as Elon. Maybe. Should I get a space shuttle? Mark, I don't know. You're growing out the curly curls, and I have nothing to say about that. But I don't buy this whole freedom of speech charade. I don't think that he believes in freedom of speech. I think that this is just another ruse and another smoke and mirrors distraction. But what do you think? And if you want to know about the Willie Soon video, that's definitely been censored, of course, but it's up still. Check that out because I'm going to have it right there. And then you can watch another video right there. Am I still doing this? This is weird. This is totally organic. I do this every day. I do. What? Oh, you're not talking to me. Bye.
Subscribe to my channel.